Well, it would be if you believe the sun's got legs.
And I'm asking you a question.
I don't think the sun's got legs, so I think it's not.
So is it a valid question then?
Not to me, because I don't believe the sun's got legs.
Right.
كتاب الله دستوري وخير الخلق أسوتنا بسنته.
Right? Okay. So before that book was written, could anybody have doubt then? Because they wouldn't have the opportunity to rely on that verse you said.
People have doubts all the time. You can have doubt, I can have doubt. But the question is, do we have basis of our doubts? Some doubts are baseless. Some doubts are not justifiable doubts. For example, about the existence of a creator, it's not justifiable doubt. You can have doubt, but it's not justifiable. And the reason I'm just telling you, of our universe now, there is only two options. Either the creator exists of our reality, or the creator doesn't exist. There is no maybe in between. Two options.
Yeah, that doesn't convince me though.
No, I'm saying there's only two options. Let's look at the options which says the creator doesn't exist. If there is no creator, no originator, then there should be nothing, absolutely nothing.
Why is that?
Because from nothing comes nothing. Something cannot come from nothingness. This makes no sense. If I have a wallet and I have no money whatsoever.
That's not relevant.
Listen. I have no money, no bank accounts, no friends to borrow from. Can I give you £10? I have no money.
Well, you can go and borrow from him.
I have no one to borrow from, I'm saying. There's no one to borrow from. If I have no money whatsoever, I cannot give you any money. From nothing comes nothing. If there was nothing at one point, no creator, no originator, we would be nothing. We won't be even discussing. There will be nothing.
You're talking about something like a chain of events which has gone back, say, 500 million years.
No, you can go billions and trillions and zillions and heptilons, whatever you want to call it. The fact still remains that something like us, matter, space, right? This cannot come from absolute nothingness. Let me tell you what I mean by absolute nothingness. Absolute nothingness is...
You're assuming it's created by somebody.
No, I'm not assuming. I said there's only two options. Two options.
That's what you're saying. You're saying it's created by somebody.
No, my friend. There are only two possibilities for the existence of creator. The creator exists or doesn't exist. I took the other option. The creator doesn't exist. If a creator did not exist or doesn't exist, what should we expect? I am saying we should expect nothing. We shouldn't even hear talking about it.
Why would you expect that?
Why? Because if there was no creator to begin with, there should be nothing. Nothing in the beginning.
It could have just happened.
No, wait. Sorry. You cannot get something from nothingness. Nothingness has no energy. Nothingness has no space, time, matter, anything. It's simply the absence of everything.
But if you take it the other way, you're saying that everything which has been created by God.
You see, we need to look at it in two different ways.
No,
one way is
you're using it at the start. You're using it at the start to say out of nothing nothing can be created, right? But then what I'm saying, all right, then okay, hold that thought for a minute. Now we've got everything. Like, effectively, we've got everything, and that's created by one person.
No.
How is that?
You're trying to simplify things in a way that is not what I mean.
I would say you're simplifying things by saying. Like,
I am saying this universe that we're living now either has a creator or doesn't have a creator. I could go on with the option that the universe has a creator and try to reason with you. But instead, what I did was, I said, let's do the other option. The options of the humanist, atheist, those who don't believe in God, for example. If there was no creator, no God, no originator, then we should expect nothing. Because there was nothing to begin with. There was nothing to begin with.
No, there was everything to begin with.
So are you saying matter is eternal?
Yes.
Now, do you believe matter is eternal?
What do you mean by matter is eternal?
Things. Matter and energy are interconvertible.
Well, no, I couldn't say that matter is eternal. All I know is that, like, the universe has been around for a long time. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Okay, so you're saying eternal. I don't know what's going to happen.
I'm saying this universe.
I don't know what's going to happen in 50 million years.
I'm talking about the past. This universe
You
is...
said is matter eternal,
Yeah.
and that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, is it?
All I'm saying is all I know is the history. It's gone on for a long time. What's going forward, I don't know what will happen.
No, no, no. There is one thing called
No, but
eternal
it's
with no beginning and everlasting with no end. You're not talking about... You are talking about everlastingness in the future. I'm
That's
talking about
eternal.
eternity in the past.
No,
Has-
that's the history, isn't it?
Has the universe always been there? Always.
I believe so. I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, in some shape or form, as far as anybody can calculate, probably, yeah.
So there has been always something.
Well, I mean, I can't be 100% sure, but I mean, it seems like it's gone on for an awful long time, 250 million years.
What we are saying is, basing on the principle of nothingness cannot create or generate or bring about
But how do
anything,
you know that? Yeah, but I mean, touching upon that.
are you saying nothingness, you've observed nothingness creates and generates
I
something?
haven't observed anything. I wasn't around 250 million years ago.
So are you suggesting a principle where something can come from nothing?
Something can come from nothing. I don't really know what you mean by that. Something come from nothing.
If you have nothingness, this
Yeah, but, I
agent,
mean, you could say at the bottom of the ocean there was nothing at the bottom of the ocean,
no,
and
no,
they
no.
found animals.
there is
down
not
there.
nothingness,
So,
there's
there was
something.
Yeah, now
Something,
there is.
something.
Now there is because we know about it.
The nothingness, the nothingness,
Yeah, but that's
the
what I'm
nothingness that I am explaining is the absence of everything.
Beforehand, you didn't know there was anything there, so there was nothing down there. Oh, there was something. Now there is.
The nothingness that I am
found it, right?
that I am referring to is the absence of everything. When you have a thing which is absolutely devoid of everything, that concept called nothingness.
Like what? Give me an example of that.
No, I am saying if you have a conceptualized understanding of nothingness,
I don't know.
look, we do know. We know by opposites. We do know by opposites. Opposites. Something and nothing. We know by opposites. A, not A. Yeah. Something, not something, which is nothing.
Do you think how our bodies are made and how we're engineered that it's a coincidence, or we were made perfect, or do you think it's just a coincidence that everything was made the way it was? Because you know things are made so precise, like how our bodies are designed and how it's engineered.
But there are explanations.
I know it's not perfect, but it's a functioning body.
It's got a good
Do you
body.
think that's not nowhere, or do you think that's...
But I would like to go even beyond life. When there was matter,
It's changed over time.
at one point, life was not on Earth.
Sorry?
Life wasn't always from the very beginning.
Other animals.
Oh, I mean, well, obviously, there's
Yeah.
dinosaurs and things like that.
No, no, even before that.
Well,
Even
yeah,
before
well,
that.
I don't know how
Right?
far
There was
back
no
you go.
life. There was no life. Life came to this planet. Okay?
Life came to what? Earth.
Yeah, there wasn't always life. When the Earth got separated from the solar system, this hot body,
By itself.
there was no life.
Okay, all right.
Is there life in sun?
Everything is always existing.
We don't think so.
Well, I know it's the same thing as at the bottom of the ocean. We never, hold on, we didn't think there was anything at the bottom of the ocean. Then we found stuff and shit, there's something there. So you just said, is there life on the sun? I don't think so.
We don't think so.
know.
We don't think so
Yeah,
because
we
of the
don't know,
heat.
do we?
Of course, we can't know, but
Yeah.
our scientific hypothesis goes like this, where there cannot be any life that we know of based on carbon, hydrogen, or oxygen that can survive in that extremities of heat.
Yeah, I mean, you can
Yeah.
use that for a lot of planets. Yeah, I mean,
So what I'm saying is, scientists have given us models of when life originated on this planet.
yeah, they
Yep,
all
it
agree
wasn't-
with each other.
Pretty much so on this issue, yes. Life wasn't always there from the very beginning. For example, when the Big Bang happened, they don't say there was biological life. There was no life at all. So that is why I'm saying we go before life happened, go into the very existence of matter. Either you believe in matter that was always there.
Who made God? Who made God?
When you say who
Always
made
there.
God, do you know what your question implies?
It was always there.
That means God has a beginning,
Creation.
and there was something else called time, and there is something else also that there is another being or an agent that has the power to make God. All of these assumptions that you're making,
No, I'm
you have
not making assumptions. I'm not making
That's the-
any assumptions. I'm just asking questions. I'm
The
saying,
question itself-
Who made God?
okay. The question that you asked has all these assumptions built in.
No,
The question
it doesn't.
assumes.
It doesn't.
Listen,
It doesn't.
the
I'm
question.
just asking, who
Listen.
made God?
Listen.
Who made him or her?
The question assumes there's a possibility that God was made by something or someone. That at one point this God didn't exist and was then made by something which had power to make God. That's the question what it assumes. If your question doesn't assume all of these attributes, then you cannot even ask this question.
I'm asking you the question. Who made God?
Okay. let me help you to understand what I mean by question to be a question. How many legs does this sun walk upon? 2 or 3?
The sun?
Yeah.
How many legs?
Does he walk upon? Sun walking, 2 or 3 legs?
The sun doesn't walk, does it?
I didn't ask you, does it walk? If I asked you, does the sun walk? Your answer could be, no, it doesn't. Or yes, it does. Maybe, I don't know. Who cares, right? But I asked you, how many legs does it walk upon? 2 legs or 3 legs? So the potential answers are already within the question, embedded. You have to answer either 2 legs or 3 legs. There is no third. So how many legs does the sun walk upon? 2 or 3? Is my question right? Is my question a question? A valid question?
Well, it would be if you believe the sun's got legs.
And I'm asking you a question.
I don't think the sun's got legs, so I think it's not.
So is it a valid question then?
Not to me, because I don't believe the sun's got legs.
Right. So a question has to be valid between ourselves when we ask. We should not have a question with loaded meaning within it, which we don't agree in the first place. So if you ask, who made God? And if my belief is God has always been there without a beginning, then this question is meaningless. Why? Because you're asking who brought about a creator who was always there without a beginning. Do you see how it becomes meaningless? Because the creator...
I see where you're going with it. So you're saying that God has been around for...
Always. With no beginning. So the question of someone making God is meaningless, invalid. If you affirm God is eternal.
I just find it hard to accept that God was around in the format that you're talking about, or anything.
I didn't give you any format. Do you know what I believe about God?
The format you're saying is that He's been here for like eternity. I just find that hard to accept.
There has to be something that has always been there, and this is why he already accepts that notion that you cannot have something popping out of nothingness. There has to be always something. Either this something is, you call the universe, or the creator, the originator of the universe. You can narrow down to these possibilities. Something has to exist always, because if always something didn't exist, that means there was at one point in the past, in brackets, right? Because when did time begin in this question? There was absolute nothingness. And absolute nothingness, which is absence of energy, space and time and everything, cannot bring about something. You cannot. If I don't have no money, I cannot give you any money. If I have nothing, I cannot give you something. Yeah. So if now it boils down to these 2 options. This universe has always been there without a creator, or the creator, originator of this universe has always been there. Now you can say, look, why does it have to be a creator? It could be created by another creator. No, fine. We can go along this logic, and you can see still, look, let's suppose this universe has a creator who was created by another creator. Why stop there? Who created that creator? Oh, maybe another one. Doesn't stop the question there. Who created this creator, which created that creator?
For me, I just don't buy it.
But do you follow? When we say who created the creator, you can have a chain of creators going on ad infinity, ad infinitum, right? Without an end. If you have this infinite regress, it's known as, right? This creator being created by another creator and so on and so forth. If you have like this, then you will be no creation at this moment, because that creation would not ever taken place, because that creator to create this hasn't been created by these infinite creators yet. Let me give you an example. I want to give you a book, right?
I need to go home.
Yeah, okay. Let me make it very quickly. Now, okay, I want to give you this iPad to you, right? So transfer from me to you, right?
Yeah.
If there are infinite number of people in between me and you, infinite number of people, would this action of transferring this iPad from me to you ever happen? If there are infinite number of people?
I mean, we talk about like...
Let's understand this. If I want to give this to you, this is my creation, so called an action. To give this to you, bring it about. This universe to come about is an action. This, to me to you, is an action. For that to happen, if there are infinite number of people in front of me who I have to give first, to give to you, would it ever reach you? Ever?
An infinite number of people?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have to like, pass to each person, I mean.
Yeah.
What, you mean each one like that, you mean?
Yeah, sequentially.
Well, it'll take a long time, yeah.
Would it ever reach you?
Well, of course, I mean, infinite number is a number which never ends, so it's just going to carry on.
So that means it will never reach your hand, right? Because there's always someone in front of you. It will never reach your hand.
Yeah, I'll probably pass away before it's yeah.
Even though if you had infinite time with infinite number of people and this goes on transferring between hands, it will never reach your hand because there's someone in front of you, because there's an infinite number of them, never ending. You will never reach this in your hand. Do you follow?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Right. Now think about our universe. If our universe was created by a God, which was created by another God, which was created by another God, and you have infinite number of gods creating each other with no end, our universe will never come into existence. It will never be created because there's infinite number of creators to create first to come here. Just like this iPad to go to you, infinite number of people in between.
Yeah, I don't see the parallel between that and the...
No. Infinite number of gods and this universe.
I never said there was an infinite number of...
I'm saying if we question who created God, then why stop there? I would say who created that God which was created by this God? And then who created that God which created this God which created that God? And go on and on. Every time you ask another question about the other God. Okay? Yeah? And you go on and you build up your gods sequentially and it can go infinity.
It's like, you know, I mean, what was God, your God doing like 500 million years ago?
So,
What are they doing?
so out of this exercise, what we understand is this: the universe is here. That means there is no infinite number of gods. If I gave this to you, it will mean there are no infinite number of people because it transferred from me to you. The universe is here. It demonstrates to us intellectually that there is one creator before which there is none. We say al-awwalu ma qablahu shay. The one who is the first, before him there is none. This eternal creator who exists eternally.
You started saying that 1400 years ago, yeah?
No.
When?
This belief
When?
has been there from the very first man that came. The message of this, what we're talking about, has been always with human beings to acknowledge this creator and to fulfill the reasons why we were created, to worship this creator. It has always been the message, but people started tampering it. And they called it, oh, let me call this Christianity and Judaism and thisism and thatism. That's the thing. But ultimately, all the people who were raised and made into their officehood of prophets and messengers, they talked about the same message, that worship God and none else. Worship God alone, the one and only. The one who is absolute, independent, the one who has no likeness whatsoever, has no lineages and no parents whatsoever. Unique. That is the God that Quran describes, and that is the God I would like you to ponder and reflect on. Okay? Let's leave it to that because you have to go. What's your name, my friend?
Anthony.
Anthony, nice talking to you. If you ever come again here, we can talk again.
Guy there. No, you. I'm just joking. I'm saying trying to convince him.
We'll talk again if we meet again, yeah? Take care.
Okay, guys.
Okay.
Can't convince me though. Can't convince me.
No, I'm not convinced either.
You have to be convinced yourself. No one can convince anyone. Only God convinces and guides people.
Because matter could be eternal. You have no answer to that. You said there's only two options.
Matter could be eternal. That's what I'm saying. If matter is, what's the third option?
Matter could be eternal.
Either this matter is eternal or the one who created this matter is eternal. What's the third? There is no third. If matter is eternal, then you have to explain how does matter demonstrate signs of intelligence, wisdom, plan, will, and so on.
That's subjective.
That's not subjective. That's not subjective. That's not subjective. Look, the water defying gravity goes up from the roots of the tree and goes upwards to the leaves. It's an engineered plan. There's a plan. It's not about just, look. If I say this is just is, a camera is just is, it's not design, you would laugh at me, right? It's just is. The water from the roots goes by capillary suction all the way up the tree and the leaves, defying gravity, because of a specific design engineered within the trees, within the roots, within the capillary systems.
Well, it's the way the trees have evolved.
Yeah, whatever you call it, I'm illustrating a mechanism of design built in within a system which goes against the laws that currently we see, like it defies gravity and goes up.
It's been sucked up, isn't it?
Yeah, sucked up by an engineering plan and a design within that system. Just like that camera, it's not just say, oh, it's just is. There is no design in it. There is design, clearly exhibiting design.
Evolutionary design. Evolutionary design. What's wrong with that?
Now, when you say evolution designed it, so you're saying evolution has a thought process. Evolution has a will. So you're giving all the attributes of God to evolution, to Mother Nature.
No, creation, nature, yeah. Creation, nature.
Yeah. You're giving all the attributes of God to Mother Nature. Do you know why? Because Mother Nature doesn't demand you to worship and be good and be nice and so on. But God does. God says be just. Mother Nature doesn't say so. That means if you find someone you don't like and you can get away with it, some people say, who cares? Bang, bang, bang. That's Mother Nature. But when it comes, but a believer, a believer has this guiding principle that yes, God watches everything that you do and he doesn't approve of these injustices. So when you commit injustice, you will be accountable and you may be punished in the punishment system in hellfire, where it is not a joke.
Punishment systems can be made by man.
But I'm saying, Mother Nature doesn't demand any of that. That's why people go for this easy option.
When you're brought up as a child, okay, your parents should teach the children right from wrong.
Correct.
Okay, and that should be independent of any religion.
When you say
you don't need
okay,
you don't need religion to teach you right from wrong.
how do you govern a system in a country? By thinking yourself, or do you say, I will leave it to the people who knows better?
Sorry?
To run a country, would you want to run by what you think is right and impose it on the majority of the people and the structure, the elites and the government? Or would you defer it to say, I leave it to a legislative authority selected by people by the democratic rights of vote? Would you defer it or would you say no?
ديمة خير وعطاء ويمام نقاء وسخاء يا نجما شع فأبهجنا يا شعلة نور وضاء يا ديمة خير وعطاء ويمام نقاء